Yo, what's up? We are back with something a little bit different. You know I'm always grinding for world records, and I got, at the time, the world record, an arbitrary world NMPZ streak record. And today, this video is going to be going over how I did that. And just, yeah, 29, at the time it was number 1, and then since within like a day, Shimmy got like 39, but it's second place. You had a lot of like 20, 24, and teen submissions, but then I got 29, and I just like sort of just like was wow 29, and then Shimmy got 39. I'm like, oh well, okay, but it was the world record at the time. Apologies again, I'm still sick. Starting out in round 1 here, we have looks to be an easy Ghana. We have a bit of a car glitch here, and just the vegetation, it's not an obvious Ghana, but the road quality looks very Ghana. It doesn't look too south, doesn't look too north. I opt for a little bit north of Kumasi, and it is just a tiny bit north of Kumasi. Round 2 going to be, looks like we have Chilean poles here. You have the kind of license plate. It's not, you can see, it's hard to see, but it's not a European license plate, but it's longer, not like a U.S. license plate, Australian license plate. You have the poles, you have all right road lines. It's go more south of Chile around Temuco, is more south of Temuco. This, we're driving the left, and it kind of looks like Ireland, but we don't have yellow outer dashes, and it just doesn't really look like. So I went for Northern Ireland because it kind of reminded me of Ireland's, and was just the UK. This one is just in Australia. We have Australia bollards. I wasn't sure where this was. I just opted for South Australia because it's really early in the streak. I got a lot of 5s, a lot of 10s at this point. I've even gotten I got 20 like 3-4 times at this point, and still hadn't gotten past 20. And I thought it was like South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales, and it ended up being New South Wales. This round, finishing out the first game with a really, really easy, nice turkey. So I'm not overly hyped. It's just a 5, and I'm getting a lot of these. Next round, pretty easy Australia with these kinds of eucalyptus trees, yellow, sort of this kind of sign. I just opted for Tasmania because it looks like Tasmania. It is Tasmania. This just really easy Philippines, and these kinds of orangish road lines, those chevrons, the white background, red arrow with on like a yellowish pole, and just really like concrete road looks like Philippines. This, we have a black car with this kind of antenna, and this landscape just looks very Colombian to me, and so I'm going to go for Colombia here. Yep, it is Colombia. This is not obvious, but I can tell by these kinds of trees that it looks like Queensland, and it looks more like inland Queensland, not really tropical, more like dry, like almost like the outback, but it looks like Queensland. I went far too north here because I know Mariba outside, like Cairns is very, very tropical, and then you go right up past the mountains to Mariba, and it looks very dry, but it was a lot more south. So not a great guess, but still got it. And this is the pretty easy Chile round, quite south and near O'Higgins, and I almost got the road here, but yeah, just a nice game, 10 already. Here we have, it's not obvious at all, and I'm surprised that I went for this so fast, but looking back, like, really nothing else makes sense. It is going to be Italy here. That's my first time with this kind of guardrail. The trees look Italy, all these rocks look Italy. I just can't think of anything else. I don't have any solid metas here. Maybe the guardrail says something more if there's an antenna on the car. I don't know, actually, to be honest. But it just really just looks like Italy to me, and I opt for the middle of Italy, and it's almost middle, it's more south, though. This is just going to be Malaysia. You have double white road lines, and I think I went pretty wrong here. Did I go pretty wrong? Yeah. It doesn't really matter where, though. Okay, and Malaysia again. This one's a lot easier because it's Generation 4 camera, and Generation 4 camera you only see in the peninsula in Malaysia. You don't see on the Borneo Island part of Malaysia. Pretty easy Malaysia there. This one, we have giant, like, we're in such a high altitude in the... what's the mountain range called? Andes. And just gonna be a black car here. It really just screams Peru somewhere in the high mountains. Yeah, pretty close guess there. Not bad at all. Could have been better. And this is gonna be just like, sorry, very sick. So tough to make videos with this. I'm doing this. Yeah, it's gonna be easy Bangladesh here. You have these kinds of tuk-tuks and have driving on the right. I mean, what am I saying? Driving on the left, and we had language there, but really it just the vegetation screams, type of coverage screams Bangladesh. So 15. And 15, I've gotten 15 like 10 times at this point, and I haven't gotten past 20, and 2 people had tied for 24 at this point, NMPZ. And we have a pretty easy New Zealand here with this like metal with possum guard on the pole. The landscape screams New Zealand, especially the North Island New Zealand. I think I just went for middle, and it was just basically middle. This one, I honestly didn't pick up, it says Eswatini instantly, but then within a couple of seconds, I'm like, oh, it's Eswatini, and it's going to be one of these roads out here. And I recognize it with all these like tree plantations you often see like way out here in the far west side of Eswatini, and I ended up clicking basically on the right spot there because it just lined up with the road angle. This, not as obvious in New Zealand, but these trees, this kind of hillsides. It's definitely not as tropical, but it is going to be New Zealand again. Where'd I go here? I go North Island, and it was, oh, really, really north. Kind of odd, but yeah. And I'm practicing a lot of South Africa here. You have yellow lines on the outside. Generation 4 camera within Southern Africa is only going to be South Africa, not Eswatini, Lesotho, Botswana. Long grass here is, I mean, obviously it's common in Eswatini, but it's not really a meta you should live by. And this, I recognize this coverage as being coverage that just like, thing is that if you play like me and you played the game in the pro scene for 2 years, you recognize when there's new coverage that you didn't see 2 years ago, and then you just pop up. And so, without even like studying new coverage being added, I just recognized that, oh my goodness, they drove these few roads here in like the dry season when previously it would look really, really green. So I just know that like north of Lesotho, like Newcastle area, Ladysmith got some dry stuff. So it looks very like that, much like this picture, and it is just gonna be outside Ladysmith there. Good guess there. This round is not obvious at all, but like to me with this kind of car and these kinds, it's really not obvious at all. But those trees, the landscape, the pole, like only thing I think of is Mexico, like Guanajuato, just a bit north of Mexico City, around Mexico City area. It's not obvious, but it's like the only thing that makes sense. And as I click there, and it basically just is there. 23-4 is really nice. A 20 streak. At this point, I've gotten like 3 of these now, or 4. And I'm so happy to see this Russia pop up, because it's really easy Russia. No idea where, but it's a black car, it's a long antenna. Pretty easy, somewhere in Russia. And it's streaking a high score, and I just plonked really close there. This one, I'm like, oh my goodness, okay, I can't throw this, because I instantly see this, I'm like, oh no. This looks really gettable, I don't know what it is. And then within a few seconds, I'm like, oh, wait, I think it's just Thailand. With this kind of road, almost like the Philippine roads, but these kinds of trees, I can only associate with being in Thailand. And it just really just looked like Thailand, Generation 4. And I click guess pretty fast there. And it's actually in the north, but we didn't see any mountains, but it just makes sense. This one, I instantly thought, oh no, I'm going to overthink this one. I'm not going to get this one. First thought was like Malaysia, Indonesia, and then I instantly ruled out Indonesia for some reason, and I'm like, it's either gonna be like max northwest Malaysia, like Perlis, Kedah states, where you get really flat and you get hills in the distance, or it's gonna be the Philippines. And I'm just thinking, and I think I prefer the Philippines. This kind of vegetation. It's really hard to describe. If it is the Philippines, it's gonna be this. It could be this valley down here, but it could be this valley up here. So I click this valley up here by Alicia, Cayugan City, or Cayuan City, and it is there somehow. That's an insane guess. And look, just like that, we're 1 away from tying the 2 other people that have gotten 24 so far. And then I see this. And I guess, and then no, oh my goodness, this does not look easy. First thought was Russia, then the signpost does not have a black bottom. I'm like, oh no, it's not Russia. What is it? Is this Ukraine ever? It doesn't really, the road quality looks way too nice for Ukraine. The guardrail probably says something, there's red reflectors. This guardrail probably isn't in some countries, isn't in others, I don't know for sure. It looks like Romania with these kinds of hills. Sunflowers within Europe are extremely, extremely common in Ukraine, Romania, and southern Russia. I think Ukraine is the #1 exporter of sunflowers in the world, along with Romania, and then like you get a lot in southern, like hilly around the, is it called the Volga River, or just south, sort of far south west Russia. And I'm not sure, and I just end up like, it doesn't look Ukraine with that kind of sort of hillside at all. Romania, I don't like this huge sized road. I think it's just Russia. I don't think I send just yet. Yeah, I'm showing which one of these it is, but I'm leaning Russia. But the problem is the signpost does not look very Russian. So I don't know, and I send Russia, and it is a lot more north than I thought. And I was very happy to tie the record so far. All I need is 1 more to get the record so far, and instantly my first thought here was Hungary. But it is not Hungary. It is Lithuania. So I zoom in, and then I halfway through zooming in, I think I realized, oh wait, I think it's Lithuania. Actually, we have poles that wouldn't make sense for Hungary and make a lot of sense for Lithuania. We have dashes on the road. I mean, bollards obviously are Lithuanian, not Hungarian, but they kind of look similar. They're sort of an orangish here in Lithuania, and reddish in like Hungary. But we have dashes, which you wouldn't find in Hungary or Latvia. You find it in like Estonia. Smaller dashes in Estonia. You have these longer dashes rarely, or not really rarely, but less commonly than normal road lines in Lithuania. And the reason I thought Hungary first was probably the main reason, without seeing metas and stuff. Like, it looks so open. You just don't think of these open fields as being very Baltic. Like, there's just so little trees, but it's just an open field somewhere. And I'm pretty sure I send pretty soon. Yeah, and it is Lithuania there, and that is going to be world record so far. This is only the other day. Next round here, I'm like, oh my goodness, how far can I take this? Decently far, not very far. Looks like an Indo pole there. I don't know what it is besides Indo. We have a solid white line going through here. I click somewhere like Muna Island or something, but I'm never guessing West Kelly. That looked way too dry. Maybe there's some metallic poles, but the point is the streak. Streak continues. Oh no, what is this? Random snow road, Europe with the antenna and a giant flag on the antenna. Entire dirt road is covered in snow. What is this? My first thought, though, my first instant thought is this is Czechia. This is Czechia. This is Czechia snow coverage, the flag antenna. I go for it in really fast because if it's winter coverage like this, like Czechia, Hungary, Bulgaria. Bulgaria's number 1, Hungary's number 2, Czechia's number 3, or for like winter coverage in Europe, and this with this kind of like antenna. It doesn't look like Bulgaria though. It just doesn't look like a normal Bulgaria round. And Hungary, like, although they have some high mountains places, like it's really rare, and I just don't think it looks like this. To me, with especially this like longer antenna with the flag, it just and very ton of snow coverage. I feel like I've seen this very rarely in Czechia before, but I've definitely seen it, and that's like the only thing I think of. Like I'm surprisingly confident in myself. I was surprisingly confident in myself that I was that confident that it was Czechia. But I just cannot. There's nothing else that this could be, and I send it wrong side, but it really wasn't region guessing. This one. I mean, it looks like it should be an easy Mexico. And I was doubting it for a few seconds here. Or maybe a second, but I just don't know what this is if it's not Mexico. It's single yellow line, which you see very rarely, except for you see that very commonly in Mexico. It looks very dry. And then I think I switched to, I wasn't 100% sure, but like, what else can it be? It just gonna be, I clicked more north and it was more north. Really nice guess there. We have 28. And we have the infamous one of these blurs that's in North Macedonia, but I don't really care about that. We have the bollards, we have the landscape, road lines, really just screams North Macedonia. And just like that, we're on 29, almost on 30, and we're 5 even past the current world record. And then we have this. What is this? We have a short antenna. The landscape, those hills almost look Romanian. They look Romanian. Like, this hillside right here reminds me of the hillsides you get along Moldova. Except those trees that look so not right. Like, again, we have like a really cultivated field, like a fall coverage, which you see commonly like Romania. You can see that in like southern Ukraine. You can see that in like southern Russia. Like, it's really similar to the other one we had that was in Russia, with this kind of field that you could grow sunflowers in. Like, I can just imagine sunflowers going right over there. We have that mountain though. We have that. Is that a mountain though, or is that just a big hill that looks bigger than it actually is? And I don't know. And I end up like looking at this for a lot longer. And things. Look at these trees right here. These trees are like Mediterranean coast trees. Like, how can that ever be in Russia? Maybe they're just trees that grow on a wetland. Maybe that's a river right there. Maybe they just grow on a wetland. Those trees look so south as well, though. It still could be Romania right on the Moldova border, just like somewhere in these hills down here. There's very few hills down here, but there's some. And like I'm trying to match up that hill there with the really small amount of mountains that are down here, and I just like, what can this be? The road is really just dirt. Huh. Angle, it's just straight to the south. We really can't see much of the from this hill right here. There's probably like a river somewhere around here if there's a hill like that. Could just be cultivated farmlands. I think I considered Ukraine. I'm not sure if I click it or not. Russia, and they have a bridge right there as well, which I just like. That doesn't look very. It looks like too built up. So I'm not thinking Ukraine. Like, probably not Russia. And I click Spain here. Because I'm like, wait, this does not look like Russia, Ukraine, even Romania. Just doesn't seem to make sense with these trees. So when I click Spain, because you're like, these trees just looks Spanish, like, or maybe Italian. And I click anything else, and I click Russia. I'm not gonna be way up there though. I click Romania, and at this point, Romania is like, I'm not even confident, but I'm more confident than I should be. And although even I spent so much more time in this round, I'm not sure I'm getting it. And I send Romania, and it is Spain. And I'm just happy that I considered it. It is a really tough round. I probably should be getting it, but it's a really tough round. Hills definitely look Romanian, but landscape, I guess, also kind of looks Spanish. So that's 29. And yeah, that's it. That's how you get a 29 NMPZ country streak on an arbitrary rural world, which has, by the way, replaced a rural world, because rural world is requested to be removed by Topodic, the map maker, because it's just like, it's repeat grindable. It's I don't know, maybe he's updating it, that kind of thing. Like, respect the map maker's decision if they don't want their map to be on a world record leaderboard. But yeah, that was 29, and then like 24 hours later, Shimi got 39, so Thanks, Jimmy. Love you. Never mind. But yeah, apologies. I'm really sick. But yeah, thank you for watching. Join my Discord, really cool place. Thanks for the continued support. I would have liked. I really would have loved to do a main account duels video today or yesterday, but I'm afraid that my sickness would hinder my performance. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.